Culture has a beautiful resilience to it. It equips the community's members to survive and thrive. It resists those who are trying to dominate and erase it. Creativity and unbridled minds always find a way to survive. Artists, intellectuals, and truly spiritual people are the real entrepreneurs of human spirit, usually making them the targets of totalitarians. From the Nazis to the Khmer Rouge to the so-called Islamic State, there's a reason that Schindler chose to save Jewish musicians, thinkers, and artists by putting them on his list during the Holocaust. You cannot erase a people or their identity if their culture continues. So I'm curious now, what makes a culture continue? What makes a culture resilient? I grew up in a world of clashing identities. American, but Indian. A Florida man, but a Californian. Queer, but religious. Traditional, but always asking why. So, I learned from a young age how to understand and enjoy the company of people not like me. The biggest way I learned to understand people was by cooking with them and experiencing what they eat, what gives them life. Stepping into the kitchen with somebody takes you to their most intimate place, their hearth, their heart. After all, there's nothing more human than preparing food together. My name is Anand, and I want to understand what makes people tick and what experiences make them the people they are today by cooking with them. Come learn with me by joining us in the Kindred Kitchen. While in Brazil, I've gotten the chance to meet with a community that practices Umbanda, a Brazilian religion that has roots in West Africa.
Olá, tudo bem? Bom.
Gelson is the Pai dos Santos, the leader of this Umbanda terreiro. He comes from a lineage of Umbanda practitioners and loves his work, caring for his community and the lives of the people who come here. In traditionally Catholic and Portuguese-influenced Brazilian society, Umbanda has come under judgment as being witchcraft or magic, much like voodoo, santeria, and other African-origin religions in the West.
Sim, a Umbanda, além dela ser uma religião africana, né, mas ela abrange também outras vertentes religiosas, né, como o catolicismo, como o próprio africanismo que você citou primeiro, a questão indígena, a questão kardecista e faz uma junção de tudo que acaba sendo uma pluralidade, que não deixa de ser Umbanda. Querendo ou não, Umbanda é brasileira, né? Apesar que ela tem essa questão de herança africanista, mas ela é brasileira, né? Porque o brasileiro, ele é muito místico, entendeu?
While on the outside, Umbanda might look quite exotic or unfamiliar to many, but most of us would agree with what Umbanda promotes. Umbandistas, or practitioners of Umbanda, have understood that fearing change and holding on to traditions for the sake of tradition is an ideal way for a culture to stop serving its community. By adding elements from its surroundings, Umbanda continues to be able to serve the community while still maintaining African roots. I'm excited to be cooking with the ladies of this community. We'll be preparing a dish of black-eyed peas and shrimp, served with sweet white wine, a traditional offering, to the Orisha Oshun, the Yoruba deity of love, fertility, and water. What does Umbanda actually mean?
Amor.
Amor?
Família.
I love that.
É ajudar o próximo. É a pessoa chegar, pedir ajuda e a gente está disponível para ajudar, não fazendo diferença de nada nem de ninguém, de se é preto, branco, pardo, se é rico, pobre.
Sim.
O importante é ajudar.
A minha família espiritual é tudo. É a base, é a força, é o carinho, é a palavra. se mostrar presente, né, nos momentos mais difíceis. Você saber que você é acolhida, que você pode contar com a tua família espiritual, com o teu pai, né, que não vão te abandonar. Eles estão ali te dando força e te ajudando a seguir. Sempre, sempre.
Practitioners of Umbanda and its predecessors have historically had hard lives, placing faith central to their ability to survive and thrive. It's clear that Umbanda adapted to the needs of the community by evolving as a socially and community service-oriented religion very intentionally, while still keeping a connection to their African roots and ancestral practices that serve the community, like sharing offered food. Umbandistas understood that cultural resilience and preserving tradition are not the same thing. But beyond faith in the Orishas, their deities, how exactly are these folks preserving their African roots? We can see it in the food being offered, recipes and ingredients, black-eyed peas, red palm oil, all coming from West Africa. But these foods and rituals are much more than just traditions.
Eu acho que tudo que aconteceu aqui hoje, nós podemos primeiro dizer que nós somos resistência. Esse alimento, essa comida, toda a nossa tradição, a Umbanda, é uma maneira de resistência, é uma maneira de cultuar nossos ancestrais, é uma maneira de dizermos quem nós somos, de onde nós viemos, a importância, né, de compactuar essa comida e que nos foi tirado, né, nossos costumes, nossos hábitos. E a Umbanda é uma maneira de nós simplesmente mantermos essa tradição, de dizermos para os nossos filhos dos nossos filhos e assim sucessivamente. Acho que é isso.
As a Floridian, I know that trees in stormy places that want to grow tall and fruitful grow more flexible wood while gaining deeper roots. Umbandistas have met the storms that have come their way with flexibility and openness, incorporating new things that would strengthen them without fear of losing who they are. In doing so, their roots have only become deeper and more anchoring. Adaptation doesn't mean losing your roots or giving up your cultural identity. Adaptation means becoming resilient to withstand the storm and provide for people as cultural identity shifts and becomes stronger.
Saravá Umbanda!
We have a biological need to create and equip the next generation. I think that's why passing values through culture is important to many of us. Like our Umbandista friends said, it's for our kids and our kids' kids. Sometimes this doesn't just look like a loving community keeping traditions alive. Sometimes resistance means war. Here in Brazil, I've met our new Ukrainian friends Ina and Alina, who can't go home because their land and culture are under attack. While their compatriots are armed on the front lines, they're fighting this invasion how they can, through music and food.
So when I moved to America, I felt this isolation. I was missing my country. I was missing Ukraine. And at that time, I was able to relate to Chopin because he wrote his first ballad when he was forced to leave Poland, and he didn't know what happened to his family.
Wow.
It also was because of Russian invasion. I think it was 1830 or somewhere that time. So I don't know, that piece, I was had always listening to it, and I felt I have to play it.
Wow.
So I was working as a server in the restaurant, and that restaurant had a grand piano in it. And my favorite thing was to serve my customers and play some Chopin for them.
I love that.
Yeah, I didn't know how I'm gonna get into college, but I was I will. I just gotta get better and keep pushing. And then the couple, they were giving scholarships to immigrants. That are my customers that I served food to.
Amazing.
And they asked me, what are you doing here? And I was I'm from Ukraine, work as a server, I'm trying to study here. And they say, apply for scholarship from our program. And that's how my life took the turn after 2 years that I finally was
Amazing.
Yeah, I'm feeling goosebumps because that's how my life, that's how my life changed.
Should we get some ingredients?
Today, Ina and Alina are showing me how to make authentic Ukrainian borscht. I'm expecting it to be a far cry from the Barefoot Contessa's summer borscht recipe that I love to make, which likely has little to do with Ukraine. Ina and Alina both assure me, you might find borscht elsewhere now, but it is from Ukraine.
Alina has her own recipe.
Yeah, you know, like
really?
in Ukraine, we have a lot, like 100, maybe every single woman have her own recipe.
Huh.
My family, because they trip a lot, my family, like father and mother, they don't want to go to another country because they know, like, to travel, it's one thing. To immigrate, it's another.
Yeah.
And they help army, they donate, and we actually also donate. Like, you know, for example, I don't earn a lot of money like in Ukraine. I still do not have such lifestyle like I had in Ukraine, but I'm donate too for our army, for our needs, volunteer needs also.
Yeah.
Very powerful how Ukrainian people just stood up and supported each other. Russia's like not nice. If like some people say, oh, let Russia take it. Russia is not nice to them. It's like you fighting for your life,
Right.
literally.
It's not just that they're invading, but they want to take it and make it Russian too.
Yeah, and just kill people that really want to be pro-Ukrainian, pro-Georgian, like people that have a self-identity, like country that has self-identity, they don't want it.
Yeah.
We were in Georgia and it was a victory day. So 9th of May, every time in Ukraine, we grab flowers and we go to a parade because all Soviet Union was fighting against Germans. And we celebrate as brother countries. And only right now, Ukraine like figured it out like that we were fighting Stalin's war.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's Russian propaganda bullshit. Oh, we're brother
Absolutely.
nation, so we can cover all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, no. Like, that's why right now we don't celebrate Victory Day, because our people died fighting against Nazis. But we were fighting for another bully. All the composers that I learned about, you know, Carol of the Bells song?
Yeah.
Dum, da, da, dum.
Yeah, of
it's
course.
written by a Ukrainian composer. What we learned the first thing, shot by KGB because he was writing music in Ukrainian. He had an identity. And like so many of the composers, writers, why we know Russian composers and writers more?
Yeah.
Just because they were not shot. They were not killed.
Do you know how I know that song?
Yeah.
The Carol of the Bells? I know it because when I was growing up, there's a group named the Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
Yeah, I know.
That's who popularized it in the U.S.
Yeah.
And they're from
It's
Russia,
very,
right?
yeah. Even then,
I feel pretty ashamed, actually.
Aggressors know that an identity cannot be erased if creative expression continues. And it's amazing to see how Ukrainian resilience comes from both their persistence in the arts and persistence on the battlefield.
sometimes it's really hard to talk about everything that's like happening because, I mean, no one deserved the war.
Yeah.
And I know so many families that like their father doesn't come back home.
It's not possible for me to really fathom the depths of what the Ukrainian people are going through, what it feels like when such a large force wants to erase you. Yet, I feel the battlefield in this very room, thousands of miles away from the invasion. I see two warriors in front of me, fighting this invasion, this erasure, however they can.
It was Kiev Rus, and then they trying to steal our borscht, but we have such.
And then they tried to steal our board.
Yeah, like to say like it's Russian nation.
We got it, it's Ukrainian.
But we have such activist. It's called Evgeny Klopotenko. He and his team, he do all stuff to put or collected, manage all documents, collected all. Historical documents,
Yeah.
So and put like to UNESCO. Look, we even have a city borscht.
Yeah.
We even have we have a lot of different recipe, and today we cooked another one recipe.
Yeah.
And this is our nation
Yeah.
Yes.
cuisine.
Yeah.
And now in UNESCO,
Yeah.
it's like on material heritage of Ukraine.
Yeah, borscht.
Yeah.
So let's try your borscht, your
Yeah.
Ukrainian,
Go for it.
Ukrainian borscht.
Ukrainian
Not Russian borscht.
No.
Yeah.
I understand now why I could feel the battlefield in that room. We're fighting the invasion in our own little way by cooking. By cooking this pot of Ukrainian borscht in Brazil and refusing to call it anything else, we are fortifying Ukrainian identity in a time of armed erasure. Creating, expressing, and indulging in a culture's art and food allows that cultural identity to persist, no matter what forces are against it. The sausage kind of brings like the smokiness, the savory. It's almost, I mean, I know beets are sweet naturally, but like I wasn't expecting it to be so sweet.
Is it like your first proper Ukrainian borscht?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've
which
only
cooked
had,
Ukrainian.
yeah, real Ukrainian borscht. I think I had fake Russian borscht before. It's so good.
Next time we will do vareniki. Okay?
Next time
I
in
would
Ukraine.
love to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yes. We'll meet up in Ukraine once it's safe.
Yeah. Next time, we will do vareniki for victory.
Perfect.
So we'll celebrate victory. I mean,
Absolutely.
okay.
Brazil has been incredible, but it's time to head back to my hometown, Orlando, Florida. In my journey, I've seen that resilience in culture is not just something you have to safeguard and fight for. Sometimes resilience comes from allowing it to be free and take its own shape. It's a party. To learn more, I'm excited to be meeting with our new friends, Lina and Hector, two salsa instructors, to talk about how Latin music and dance have helped create a united Latin identity. Papas choreadas.
Papa chorreada.
Is Colombian or is Venezuelan?
Colombia.
It's Colombian.
Don't come and tell me that it's Colombian.
You take the arepa. So you want to steal the arepa.
I'm gonna ruin this marriage by the end.
You're gonna, where are the arepas from?
Where are
Stop it.
arepas from?
I have an ice in my hands.
What we all do in our defense.
That's true, but his is biggest.
Yeah, I have the big
I
ass.
suppose it's not about size, it's about how you use it. When I was in Mexico, a friend of mine told me how he never felt Latin until he heard reggaeton. Mexico, Argentina, Peru, and Puerto Rico have almost nothing in common other than a shared language and colonizer. But with reggaeton, he felt connected to people in all these other countries because they were enjoying and dancing to the same music. He finally felt like he was part of a greater Latin community. Everything in Hispanic culture seems to be a little bit of a land battle about who came up with what. Wait, who came up with salsa then?
Don't.
He's getting
It's a
ready. Let's
huge
go. All right.
discussion.
All right, crack knuckles. Let's see what you got.
So for real, what I know from salsa is that it comes like originated from the African beats, right?
yeah.
Which is the tambores or drums
Yeah.
and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
then it kind of goes across that side of the world, and then they are gonna add these other instruments such as like the campanas and then the piano.
But that happened
And
main.
no. You said I go first. So
Talking stick is over
my.
here.
So it goes like that and then travels across to the Caribbean, and that's when it gets like to Cuba, Puerto Rico, I guess Dominican Republic, and that's when they start adding all these other instruments such as the guitar and the clave, and that's when it starts becoming like this Latin rhythm.
So they say racing boards in New York because, everybody wanted, the American dream. So all the big, huge musicians, they was based in New York. The Puerto Rican, Venezuelan, the Cuban, everybody was in New York.
Yeah.
So the best studios was in New York because the blues and everything, all these guys, Georgia, all these, these kind of trombones, there was there. So
it's American.
Yeah, kind of American.
No.
Kind of.
It was popular because
It get
of
popular
the U.S.
in
but
US
it was
because
created.
It was created in New York and it was in the streets. Like, you know, if you are a trumping guy, I'm a tumbadora guy, and you're a pianist, let's get together and everybody go in the street and play, you know, live. And everybody gets
It wasn't created in New York. It was popular in New York. It was created somewhere else.
The reason why they call salsa is because of different greens. How you see here?
Yeah.
Put in there some garlic.
Yeah.
We have some onions. We have, you know, green onions.
Yeah.
Also, we have tomatoes.
Yeah.
We make salsa.
Yeah.
Or sauce in English.
It's all the different flavors.
Different flavors is come all together.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't know if the tomatoes come from Italy or the onions come from
Cuba or New York or
New York.
Yeah.
It's just one flavor.
Huh.
You know, at the end of the day, you got salt.
And I mean, by the end of it, you can't even really tell if it's this flavor that's in it or that flavor that's in
It's
it.
just dinner here, and you know, some fine.
Is it African? Yeah. Should I start taking some stuff outside?
Yeah, let's go
We're
outside.
ready to grill, right?
We're ready, yeah.
Perfect. Awesome. With African beats, Spanish language, indigenous instruments, and elements from nearly every Latin country, it's clear that salsa is a potluck party, with everybody contributing and partaking together as one Latin community. But I'm still left wondering, is there really such a thing as a greater Latin culture beyond a shared love for specific music?
Let's say we have the same language and we have similar foods, but we all have this interesting thing in common that we are very caring, you know, very family oriented, loud. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I guess since we are raised with very loud music, and I remember everybody telling me like, if the music is louder, you dance better. So we just blast that thing up, and then you'll start dancing. That's the other thing, like finishing the party at 2 a.m. That's like what? In my country, we finish at 6, and at that time we start making breakfast.
Yeah.
Okay, and you're a kid, and you do that, so. We were doing that over here, and there was this guy that is from Ohio, and he was like, why? Like, why would you do that? Like, why would you start cooking at this time?
The real question is, why not?
Yeah, why not?
Like, why are we going to sleep? Like, there is a life to live. Come
Exactly.
on, get up.
Well, I think
start cooking.
Like, part of it is also like just, you know, they're saying, why would you go to sleep so late? Because then the whole day is gone. But you've already spent all that time that you would be spending with your family, right? In the night, and you had a great time. So I guess a larger Latin culture does exist as a vibe. Partying together, eating together, enjoying life right now, but always doing it together. It's no wonder that music and dance are central to Latin identity. The Latin community has taken old musical traditions and made them into something new, something that applies to their daily lives, something that can be part of every party. Creating spaces for older Latin generations to show younger Latin generations that being Latin means celebrating in the moment and always doing it with all the people that you love.
The pineapple I thought was gonna be a little sweet. I'm gonna try it.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
That's really good. These potatoes are ridiculous. That's so good. Okay. This pineapple is, I've really been curious.
Go for it.
Oh yeah.
See?
Yes.
At the end of the day, Latin culture in general, we don't see any, you know, difference. Too many difference each other. Because that's like a salsa. I say in the beginning. We mix it up, we come together, mix it up, and that's it.
But I mean, it's really cool. Like growing up in Florida, I've always seen like salsa and Latin culture, but understanding really how it really coalesces, how it comes together, and how Latin community comes together. Yeah.
You're welcome. That's why everybody want to come into Florida.
Yeah, exactly. We live where they vacation.
There you go.
If we look to preserve culture, we must continue creating it. But why? Why is culture so important? Because culturing a person literally means giving them the things they need to grow, thrive, and become abundant in this world. Our job is not to be dutiful descendants, but to be righteous ancestors. And how we're able to make our cultures resilient is key to this. Cultural resilience is not holding on to your heritage out of fear of change. It's Latin folks finding new ways to ensure the next generation learns the same values that helped older generations navigate life, even if that means young people do it differently. It's Umbanda adapting African religions to a new place and time, incorporating new influences to help the community serve all of its members better. It's fighting with everything you have against forces that want the world to forget you ever existed just because you're different, even if that means making a pot of borscht in Brazil. Resilient cultures are how we give our values to future generations. Values are how people deal with life, and how we deal with life determines if we live burdened or free. My name is Anand, and this is Kindred Kitchen. I'll see you on my next journey. Until then, please remember to always share your cooking and your stories too. Hey friends, Anand here. I am beyond delighted that you chose to join us in the Kindred Kitchen today for our first ever full episode of this series. If you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe down below. We'll be starting our next journey next week, and we would love to see you there. There's no way that we can cover this entire topic in these videos, so please comment. This is an open invitation for us to discuss and learn together. Until next week, please don't forget to share your food and your stories too.